Hey guys, welcome to Motivational Monday. Today we are tracing dreams with Jay from Youth Development Initiative, and he's going to tell us all about his dreams, his story, and what his company represents. So, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so my name is Jay Watkins. I'm a program manager with Youth Development Initiatives. We're a nonprofit organization based out of Charlotte. And our target goal is pretty much to help youth answer three questions. Who am I? What do I want? And how am I going to get it? And we do that, we're giving them an edge, which is a process that helps them matriculate out of poverty.
Absolutely. And you said, what were those three questions again?
Who am I? What do I want? And how am I going to get it?
I think that's such an important thing to really start having those conversations at a young age, because a lot of times we try to answer those questions as adults, and honestly, it's too late at that point.
And even now, it's like I kind of catch myself on a daily basis, like, okay, can I still answer those questions? I mean, even when we do adult trainings and things like that, people can't answer those questions. So you kind of out here, chasing a dream that you believe is something that you want to have. But you don't have no basis for that dream, right? You have no actual foundation to build on because you can't answer those questions. So you're chasing, what exactly?
Exactly. And so I think it's important to have those questions answered as early as you can, but just being a little flexible about it. Like, it's one thing to change your answers. In my opinion, it's another thing to not have an answer.
I agree 100%. I mean, if you start with something, I mean, everybody got to start somewhere. So, I mean, start with something. It's cool to, type an outline and then edit it along the way. But until you put something on that paper, you have nothing. So I definitely agree with you on that.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about your story.
So, I'm from Salisbury, North Carolina, which is a small town, where we are a city. 30 minutes outside Charlotte.
The fact that you needed to tell us you're a city.
I tend to say town because people don't think we're a city. We have 3 exits right off 85. So
whatever works for you.
We're solid. We got a mall that nobody goes to. We have a Walmart. We have
one. There's a Walmart there.
we're coming up. It's building up. But it's a great place. I love my hometown to death. Anybody that talks to you about me will always tell you, I say I'm from Salisbury, born and raised. Grew up in Salisbury, like I said. And the city pretty much right now is a dying city. So, I mean, even on today, went to a meeting to kind of discuss some things we could do in the city for some of the youth that aren't really getting motivated or getting the services they need. So me, I'm fortunate. I always say I won a parental lottery, right? So my parents are married. I have the greatest parents ever. Love my parents to death. And I mean, I honestly didn't know that I was anywhere near broke until way later in life, because my parents just shielded me from that. And, my mom works hard. My mom still works a second shift job. She still don't get out till 1:30 in the morning. My dad, he co-manages a cigar lounge, which is one of his passions. I do have 2 older sisters. My sister, she graduated from college with a degree in theater arts, which kind of motivated me to go to school. But one thing I will say is that being from Salisbury has definitely molded me into the person I am today, because a lot of individuals that we walked the same line for such a long time, and then eventually, they just went on their ways. And here we are today, and I'm trying to save young men that remind me, and young women that remind me of the people who kind of didn't continue on that path to, try to better themselves.
Awesome. So at what point did you realize that this was your purpose, this is what you wanted to do, and this was how you wanted to connect with the next generation?
Well, me, I like to read, but I like those facts that nobody knows, like the stuff that doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like
knowledge.
Yeah, exactly. Like that dinner knowledge. Like, hey guys, when you're eating, like, hey, did you know that giraffes and humans had the same amount of vertebrae in the neck? Like, exactly my point. So it's like it's stuff like that. It's like, why? First of all, why do you need to know that? It's not important.
Jeopardy, of course.
It's cool. Like, yeah, if I go on TV and that's like the question and that pops up, I'm like, yo, I'm good. I'm gonna, probably
the only one.
You said what?
You would be the only one to know.
Look, if I make it to the last round of Jeopardy, they didn't do better recruiting because I don't think I'm that sharp. But I think the main thing for me was I was reading up on stuff, random knowledge. and I came across this article that was discussing how Black men are dying at the rate of an endangered species. Right. So for me, I'm like, what? That blew my mind. And it wasn't speaking of Chicago. It wasn't speaking of LA specifically. It was speaking of us as a whole, like a whole. My next question to myself was, well, what am I going to do about it? Right. So I had already decided I wanted to go into criminal justice. Like people, you want to be a cop? I never wanted to be a cop. Right? You want to be a cop? No, I don't want to be a lawyer. You know what I mean? That's not what I wanted to do. But I picked up criminal justice because it was interesting to me. I liked my classes. And I saw a need for me being who I am and looking like how I look to learn the other side, to educate my people, right? And on how we have been gypped in the past and how the education gap has hindered us when it comes to race relations and law, policing, the criminal justice system as a whole. So upon learning that fact, that's what drove me to kind of do this work that I do. Besides the fact of being in church and things like that, you always talk to mentor. I'm missionary Baptist, so missionary work, right? So it's missionary work.
Rooms for this.
Yeah, exactly. Literally born and bred to go out and help the community. So it was not by chance. I don't believe it was by any random act that I'm here today to do this work. But that's kind of what pushed me to do it. And then I had an internship with the organization that I'm working with now. I think I did 280 hours for free. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Senior year of college, 280 hours, put in the time. I was there like I was going in on snow days. Like I got paid.
Yeah.
I know, right? Like, and I'm driving what was I driving in? A 91 Camry, 92 Camry. Yeah, it's a bad idea. But
a little bit.
Yeah, but nevertheless, I finished that up, graduated and was depressed for 2 weeks because I was like, dang, I graduated. Like, it never said in that I didn't have a job. I was like, I don't have a job. So I graduated UNC Charlotte, criminal justice degree, minor in women's and gender studies.
And you were like, but wait.
And so I'm like, I graduated. Like, my GPA was okay. Like, I should be able to do something. Like, I don't know. So 2 weeks, I'm just sitting around. Like, my lease, I still had a month left on my lease, so I was just at my crib. Obviously everything's still good. I'm like, man, what am I going to do? And the CEO of the organization called me and offered me an amount of money that I had never heard in my life. And he was like, hey, can you come do 2 weeks? I'll pay you up front. And I haven't left since. So that's kind of how I connected my life. You said what?
You darn Skippy, you haven't.
I have not. I have been with them since 2015, June 22nd, 2015 to be specific. And I did a recidivism study for them. And that's what kind of pushed me. All that running around to get back to your question. That's what pushed me. The recidivism study I did to see that what we have to focus on to help our people, and by our people, I mean endangered or challenged youth, because we believe all youth are at risk. You don't live in a bubble. Everybody. We're all at risk. You walk out the front door, you can't control everyone. So it's that simple. So by learning that, I kind of built some tools and things like that to help us kind of track and engage where we can help and where we need to shore up. But the passion I felt from doing that, it's like, hey, man, I'm building something that can actually affect this startling fact that I learned, so many years ago.
Right. I think it's really amazing that it's something that you're passionate about and we're willing to do it for free. And so to be able to turn your passion into a paycheck, I think that's the dream. Like that's the dream.
It is.
For sure. So kudos. And I can see why you haven't left.
I know, right?
For sure. So what do you hope to give back to the world?
Oh man. Light, I that in the simplest form, I think light is really the thing I'm trying to do, each and every day. I think my niece, she's 3 years old, and I've never watched anyone fully grow up. So she's like the first kid I've actually watched. Like I was there when she was born, I've been there every step of the way, right? So just to watch her grow and just see how quickly she picks up on things, good or bad. Right. It keeps you in the mode to kind of do right. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's what pushes me to kind of hold my head straight, and focus on being a positive light to other people, because we live in a dark world. We just got to be honest. The world is filled of hate, and people are selfish, greedy, gluttonous, to say the least. And I think we're moving forward with this type of infantile mindset. We're not thinking on a higher level, right? So I think what I want to bring to the world is just the idea that positivity exists. If not only in self, you can find it in others, right? So you don't have to just depend on yourself to bring light into your own world, right? It's not it's not all bad, but I think I want to be one of those people that's like, he's giving us something to look forward to, right? He's giving us something to draw forward to. So I definitely want to bring light.
That's huge and so necessary for sure. And I can relate when you say like you're watching your niece and see what she picks up and all of that. I have a sister who's 10 years younger than me. And so granted, she's a teenager now, but my whole life, like I've always had in the back of my mind, she's watching me.
Yeah.
And it's like every decision that I make, every action that I do, like I have to answer to her. Exactly. And not answer to her in the sense that she's my authority figure, but like I have to go explain that to her.
Exactly. Good or bad. And I think that's what we lose.
Exactly. Like even something as simple as, you break up with somebody you've been with for years. Like I literally had to sit down with my sister and explain to her, like, this is what happened. This is why. You know what I mean? Like,
like wow. And then you think like, why am I explaining this to you? You don't even understand what they do, right?
And I would rather her hear the real than have her hear or come up with the story on her own.
That's it.
So good or bad, just having that push, like I'm making every effort possible to show her what Black girl magic looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And to show her that you can do anything that you want to do.
Exactly.
And having that push. And then I also have my 8th niece and nephew. It's a girl, but I have 8 nieces and nephews and one's on the way. Like there's a lot of little people in my life looking up to me. You know what I mean? Just waiting to see.
That's a big Christmas. Y'all gotta get y'all sharing gifts. We getting gift cards and splitting them in half. That's ridiculous.
You hear me? Like you get a shirt, you get a sock, you get a blanket.
Get a pack of t-shirts and split them up.
Do you hear me?
Do it like that.
And it's only 2 boys. The rest are girls.
Oh yeah, they definitely.
How this is working out, I really don't know. But God bless their souls. Okay.
A little team over there, a little basketball team.
But what I'm saying is I have that constant, like, in the back of my mind, like, I just got to make it so I can show the next generation, like, you can literally do anything that you want to do and what that looks like. So with all the things that you have going on in your world, like what keeps you motivated? Is there a particular source, a particular person? Like what keeps you motivated?
And I will say, before I answer this question, my job, and what's particularly annoying to me is the fact that people think I play with kids all day. Right? So, that annoys me so much because they don't realize, and even I didn't realize at first how big a business this is. This is big business. It's not taken lightly by me in any light. And never has, the work of children been a joking matter to me, right? Because I know how important it is. Because just as me and you just stated, kids are watching. They're learning. They pick up everything early on in their life from whoever they're watching or whatever they're watching. So I think that the fact that I think it's like this kind of notion that you're trying to prove something, but through the work of the youth, right? So what gets me going is this stereotype that they already have of my students, right? Or of kids. Like the next generation is all burned down, is the world is going to hell, just what are we gonna do? And that's what kind of keeps me going. It's like, no, I see the light in these kids. I see it on them. And it's there. It's evident to me each and every day that if I do miss a day, and they call me, hey, Mr. J, what what's going on, man?
Where you at?
Where you at? I'm like, yo, I had this, I had that. Or they might say, they might just come to me with a question, you know, or a problem. Like, man, one of my students, I think last week, was like, I need to talk to you. What's up? Because, you know, you always crack back and forth. It's like, man, my mom kicked me out the house. I'm like, your mom ain't kick you out the house. Like, she ain't really kick you. He's like, nah, she woke me up this morning, literally woke him up and kicked him out the house. That's what keeps me going.
Yeah.
Right? Because the fact that you have faith enough in me, one, to share that with me.
Right, right.
But two, you feel as if I have a solution.
So
and whatever
that, you gotta go find it.
And whatever that solution may be, even if it's not me finding you somewhere to lay your head, right? You feel like I have the words or the wisdom to offer you to make you fully feel like this situation is going to be okay. Mm-hmm. You could have told anybody, you know what I mean? But for you to come to me,
told nobody.
That part. But for you to come to me humbled and, you know, sad, and that's hard for young men to show their emotions, but to come to me humbled and sad, head held low, and say, hey, man, I need you.
Yeah.
Right. That's what keeps me going, because I always know that last little bit of energy I have, I would much rather spend it on somebody else than myself. And that's the pushing factor.
That's so huge, because especially as young Black boys, mm-hmm. I feel like as a society, we train like, man up, you can't cry. What you crying like a little girl for? Like, all of these things are taught so young that by the time you're dealing with the real issues, it's your own voice now.
Exactly.
It's become your self-talk. And so it's so huge for a young teen to come to another man and be like, listen, I'm hurting. I'm struggling. I don't know what to do, to put himself in a vulnerable place to even share that. Because a lot of times what people don't realize is when we don't teach boys how to deal with their emotions, it becomes anger.
Yeah. Quickly.
Very quickly. And so now you got this angry, aggressive, big Black man who don't know how to say, I'm hurt.
And it's
I'm sad.
And you talk about that to the extent of the lack of belief in mental health in the minority
that the whole Black community has, for sure.
It's sad. It's honestly sad, the fact that we run from it. And I'm never I'm never one to shy away from my faith. And I do believe that prayer is important. Meditation is important.
But you need more than that sometimes.
Oftentimes.
A lot of times.
It's a lot of times. And it's true, because I also believe that God gives us the ability to use common sense, right? So if he's putting these things out there for you to utilize, and if faith without works is dead, then why would anything else not be the same?
For sure.
Right? So if you believe, work. And not only, in light of your faith, but believe that the things you're putting around to help can actually help. Right? Mm-hmm. And I think mental health is just that thing. It's like right now that we're all pulling up on this, me and you being in similar works, it's another barrier. Another feather in the cap to add to kind of learn how that goes into, motivation or lack thereof, hope, self-esteem. How does that play into it? But also, how do we combat that as a group, right? I think that's going to be the next major step in our community, is to actually convince people that mental health is important, but to prove to them that we can actually, battle it or combat it.
Absolutely. And so I'm somebody who I'm very open about the mental health struggles that I've had before. Mm-hmm. I've dealt with depression. I've dealt with suicidal attempts. I struggled hard with grief of miscarriage. And I'm very open about those conversations simply because I'm trying to break that stigma. When I was going through the grief of my miscarriages, I was in therapy every week. Yeah. Literally every week. Listen, I can't, but just like that, I was in church every week. Yeah. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be one or the other. I needed both. I needed everything.
And I'm with you 100%. It took me the longest time. And I've never openly admitted to really anyone that I did. I was in counseling for quite some time. Because when I first started feeling the weight of the job, I realized I couldn't get these things off of me. So the burdens that the students were having, I was carrying that stuff around. And it was bad. And then, I mean, it was to the point where I literally was like, I can't do this job anymore.
Mm.
It was that bad.
You just needed an outlet.
Yeah, it was that bad. So, I went and, did the whole research. I went and did the whole thing and research counselors. And I'm legit in there building profiles. Like, you know what? I think this one might be good. So I went and met for the first time. And the first time was just a screening. So I'm like, I don't know if I want to go back. Right? So I go back, and I've never been a person to think I'm always right. I've never been that person. What I do believe is that I think before I open my mouth. So for me to open my mouth to someone and them to tell me that I'm wrong, it was kind of like, right? It was like a wash over my face. It's like, no, Jay, you're looking at that wrong. And here's why. I walked out of there every day, head a little higher, because it had a negative effect. Not a negative effect. It had the opposite effect on me, right? So I was thinking it was going to be like this detrimental experience where I was going to be tore down. I'm a black man in counseling. I walked out empowered every single time.
For sure. Every
single time.
And I think part of that is we need more therapists that look like us. Because at the end of the day, call it racist if you want. I'm not sitting up here talking to some old white man about my problems. You don't get it.
Can't relate.
You cannot.
Can't relate.
So the therapist that I have now, she's not old, but old compared to my 26-year-old self. But she's probably like late 30s, early 40s.
She young.
Black, female. And we're cool. Like, not on some like hanging out outside of therapy, but like I can have real conversations with her. I can go in there and say, I'm ready to slap the shit out of somebody. Like, you know what I mean? And she's like, okay. All right, simmer down.
Let's not do that. You kind of
like, you still need your job. You can't slap people at work. Like,
motivation.
But being able to have real conversations with somebody that I know understand, because it takes away that initial barrier, because you're a young Black woman. You get it to a certain degree. Like, you already go into it understanding the largest part of myself.
Yeah. And that is who you are in you. And like you said, it's just literally walking in there and seeing somebody that looks like you. And it's just ironic. Like, my mother, light skin, talks so loud. She likes to say she's heavy set, not to me, but moms. But my therapist was like the same build as my mom. Talk loud, held no punches with me at all. And I was like, man, this like, but she was young. She was like probably 33, 34. And it's like, maybe I saw her more of a sister figure. I don't know, but
it's what you needed.
It's what I needed.
Comfortable to share. And that's what I'm saying. Like, and I really want, like, one of the passions of my heart is being able to get people to see, like, therapy is good for the Black community. Like, I'm pretty sure we're the only race who hasn't bought into the realization that therapy is good.
Sounds about right.
Like, it really is. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that people who go to therapy don't like to talk about the fact that they go to therapy. And people who need therapy don't even want to try.
At all.
And you see what I'm saying? So if I can be an advocate for anything, it's an advocate for mental health, for sure. So the fact that you're opening yourself up to being that resource for these teens is so huge. And I know, like, I coach competitive cheerleading. And so you think of it like, oh, it's just a fun extracurricular activity. But these girls come in with such a heavy weight on their shoulders, and they're young. They're like, so we have two teams that I'm like kind of helping with, and the one team is 4 to 6 year olds, and then the other team is 6 to like 11, maybe 12. And these girls have so much pressure. And what's crazy is me and the other two coaches are older than most of their parents, and none of us have kids, so we're just like, bruh,
what's going on?
When did you?
The competition. The competition.
But when you think about it, so you think about people our age with preteen children, like, And some of these preteens are the oldest of like multiple kids. You know what I mean? So that creates another weight as well, because you have relatively young parents and relatively low incomes. You're helping out at home and you're 10 years old. You know what I mean? Like your worries are beyond school. And
Exactly.
here, like you have so much on your shoulders. And so when some of them, and so I try to be like cognizant of the fact that they see me, and I remember what my coaches meant to me. And, you know, being in that position now is just like, it's a huge honor for sure, but it's also opening my eyes to the reality that these kids are hurting. And when they're acted out in practice, it's usually deeper than that.
Yeah.
Like it's usually deeper than just them acting out just because. Maybe it's because they don't get attention at home. Maybe it's because they don't get the care and concern that they're looking for. Simply, and not out of fault or negligence, it's simply because it's too much going on at home.
Yeah.
And they don't have that person to pour into them because they're the oldest. You know, like as an oldest child, like I get it. I was thankful to have a 10-year gap because that allowed me to have that alone time with my mother.
Mm-hmm.
Having a 2-year gap doesn't.
At all.
It really doesn't, you know. So it's so huge. But I want to tie into the next question. Like, if you could go back and tell your teenage self something, like what would be that one thing?
One thing? Just one?
I'll give you two.
You give me two? Okay, I appreciate that. I'm gonna
Make it good though. It has to be good.
Okay, my first one. Save your money. Oh yeah. My first thing, teenage self, save your money. I had a job. I worked at a little pharmacy, right? It was like I'm talking about backcountry type. We had a soda fountain with hand scooped ice cream and handmade milkshakes. Yeah.
South, so I'll let it pass.
About as country as it can get. We had it. But I think that job offered me a type of sense of responsibility, right? So I laugh even now because it kind of ties into my dedication to the internship. Like, you know how, well, I don't know how you guys do in the DMV, but like senior beach week is like the biggest thing ever in North Carolina. Yeah, see, I won't even say North Carolina. I should just say surrounding areas. Everybody, it's like a week that everybody.
Myrtle Beach?
Dirty Myrtle, yeah. Sheesh. Yeah, I know.
In high school, I'm sure it was though.
High school.
Yeah, I'll give you that pass.
Yeah, high school. But it was everybody went to the beach. But see, at my job, they employed high schoolers. So it was, I think, 3 of us on staff then. My 2 coworkers wanted to, take off. And I was like, well, I'll just take their shifts then. So I didn't go to the beach. I stayed.
You made that money.
I stayed and worked full days, right? I couldn't tell you where that money is right now. But the fact that I had the notion or the idea to stay, right? That was good. But I needed more, right? I should have had a direction to say, hey, save that money. You made it. Now save it, right? So I would tell myself that I had the opening, the intro to common sense. Yeah, I had the start to common sense, but common sense isn't common. So I definitely would tell myself save money. 2, what would 2 be? If I'm okay, my teenage self, go to community college. Go to community college. 2 years community college. I literally had this discussion earlier, and I was just sitting there. And the funniest thing is, I was sitting there having this conversation, and literally my phone went off. I glanced at my phone, and it's like the student loan payment was accepted. So I'm like, oh man. So I'm about a little shy of $30,000. Yeah, indebted to Sally Mae. So I really wish I would have done the community college route for a number of reasons. One, those prerequisites probably would have been a lot easier for me. My classes would have been smaller. 2, I would have had time to stay at home, enjoy my family, and kind of build on some of those things that I was lacking professionally College is actually a very intimidating thing.
Okay.
You're talking about taking you were literally just asking to go to the bathroom a couple of months ago. Now you throwing me in a building with random people on this big campus with random people, professors who might not speak English well, right? You know what I mean? And things like that, like overnight. And you telling me that my attendance really don't matter. Okay, so I ain't got to come.
Right.
Yeah,
Because things don't matter until you fail.
exactly. And you go to office hours that you never been to before because you don't know how to communicate with a professor, right?
Right.
It's just things like that I wish I would have told myself. Go to community college, right? And kind of explore that route because it would have set me up so much smoother. It would have been so smooth. So I would, and that was certain things I go back on now, and I'm like, man, you
Yeah,
can't go.
I wish I knew.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna agree with your first one and disagree with your second one.
you don't agree with the second one?
But listen, so I agree with the first one because I definitely had the income coming, and I didn't do can't do anything to speak for it. And I actually hate the fact that, so I went to tech on full scholarship,
Okay.
and I had refund checks like thousands of dollars per semester. Don't know where this money is, but I literally could have graduated. You know what I mean? Like if I was smart, mind you, my mother's an accountant, so why she let me decide what to do with my money?
You grow up. You got to learn. You got to learn.
No, literally thousands a semester that I was just like, I paid my bills, obviously, but like after that, it was just like, meh. Do what you want, my dear. Like, I bought a MacBook because that's what I wanted. I was just like,
you did the right thing. I mean, that's for college though. That's different.
Point being,
You went to Panama.
I didn't need a gift for myself every semester.
You did.
Literally, to the extent that I could have bought a car with no car note, and when I graduated, I could have had a down payment for a house by the time I graduated.
Very true.
Like,
very true. But it's
8 semesters, bruh.
Yeah,
that's a lot of money that I was just
quick right. And you know what? I never took the refund checks. I just gave all the money back.
No, these were refund checks from scholarships and grants.
Yeah, I got the scholarships going in. I did what you did, like the scholarship money. I bought a laptop and kind of did, but I'm like on my refund checks. I'm like, yo, I don't want those because I already know how that goes. Similar stories, different from yours.
Yes. So what I'm saying is, so I didn't have any loans from undergrad.
Oh,
it was 100% like actually free money.
Oh, you really should. You shot yourself in the foot.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, so I agree with the first one. The reason I don't agree with the second one is because as people of color, there's scholarship money available.
It is.
It absolutely is. And I say that saying that I went to a very prestigious college and paid not a dime for it. So.
But, granted, me coming out of high school, and I'm technically still first generation. And the reason I say that, and I don't try to, push forward with that because it's this whole type of, like, that's like the new thing, like first generation college student. Because, obviously if a sibling goes to college, you're both still first generation if your parents do. My mother got a business certificate, but she didn't go to college. So technically first generation, didn't realize that until today. Actually, before this. But that lack of education, again, that we've been speaking on, my guidance counselor could have gave me squat about me. Mm-hmm. And I literally had to go to another guidance counselor to even be where I am today.
For sure. And I think that's where we have to pour into the next generation and kind of have those kind of conversations. Yeah. But it's definitely out there, particularly when you think about, like when I went to school, it was to be a math teacher. Okay. Like a Black woman who wants to be a math teacher. Don't judge my story. Don't judge my story.
I can't stand math. I support you 100%.
But that's why I actually wanted to teach math, because a lot of times people hate math because they don't get it. There was one subject that tripped you up, and from that moment forward, you hated math.
Pretty much. Not until I got to high school. I liked it until...
And it was probably algebra, was it not?
It was.
I wanted to teach algebra because that was usually the very point where most people started hating math.
Yeah, that basis would have. Okay, I can see what you're saying because you would have taught them to like it. So therefore, they would have moved on, enjoying it because they would have had learning styles and the reason. Okay, I got you. I'm with you. Okay, I can support that. I take back the face I made like 30 seconds ago. I fully support and endorse you going back. You should do it. Go adjunct.
That it's recorded and you've already made the face, but I'll allow it.
That never happened. Just cut that part out.
No, but so what I'm saying, and then I graduated with a psychology major. So don't be afraid to change your major. It happens. But what I'm saying is like there were so many opportunities to get the scholarships, and I nickel and dimed my way to scholarships, like $500 here, $1,000 here. Like people laugh at those kind of scholarships. Them things add up.
They do. I got like 3 of those.
That was my refund check. Listen.
Bring it back. Bring it back.
I'll allow it. Listen, I had scholarships from several different sororities. Didn't pledge none of them. This one. Listen.
Thank y'all.
No, for real. I literally had a scholarship from the Deltas. Didn't.
We know. Thank you for your funds. I appreciate you supporting and endorsing.
Appreciate it. You've educated me.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
See, even on that, I'm like, I gotta. Okay, so I won't name this. I won't name the school, right? I won't do that. I got a full ride. I didn't apply. I just happened to be associated with a program that was related to the college. They called me. I'm talking about. It was like 8:00 in the evening. First of all, this isn't business etiquette at all. But nonetheless, answer the phone. Hey, we're gonna offer you a full ride to blah 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 blah. And then initially like, is this
okay?
A joke?
What was the college? Like,
oh, can't do it.
Why?
They
not watching.
You never know. People are everywhere.
I'll ask you offline. Don't worry about it.
Okay, bet. So I tell them, I say, I need a day to think about it, right? And I fully really was going to give it the time to think about it because I really wanted to consider, what we're talking about now, right? So money, scholarships that I was applying for, how is that going to play into this? They literally told me I had to tell them right then and there.
Oh no, it's a no.
So I'm like, are you serious? Like, can I get a day? Like, no, we need to know now. My response.
Then no, thank you.
Yeah, and my response was literally, well, they were like, what do you need time for? What I'm going to discuss with my family. I'm 17 years old, like dictating the rest of my future on a 30-second phone call. But 2, I kind of wanted to, meditate over it, pray about it, which literally my words. Their response was, some of us don't realize when there are blessings right in front of us, which literally floored me. that floored me. I was like, wow, are you literally doing this right now?
Because now I'm about to start a whole sermon because my God is not governed by time, which you're not going to do.
You're not going to cast stones right now and tell me.
And tell me what my blessing is.
Yeah.
Listen here. Go
ahead. I'm like, man, wow, y'all wow for that. I'm just have to.
For sure, that's bold.
Yeah, and I'm like, dang. But now I'm like, you know what? I made the right decision. My mom encourages me all the time. You made the right decision.
For sure.
That was buffoonery.
Oh, for sure. And the devil can quote more scripture than anybody, so we'll leave that there.
Yeah. You said
it. Exactly. So I'm going to ask you one last question, and we'll kind of wrap up from there. So when did your journey to self-love begin?
My journey to self-love. I'll have to say when I realized that, and it's funny, it's going to be hilarious. And maybe not that funny. But when I realized, I'm not that bad of a person, right? And I know that's funny because oftentimes, even now, I've looked into, and I'm still in this journey fully. I obviously love self, and I take pride in who I am and the things I do, and also what I've accomplished and what I aspire to accomplish, and I take none of that lightly. But at the moment where I realized that self-investment was not a robbery from others. And it took me the longest time and struggle with that. Because I realized, and it's funny to me, like Gucci Man said, get lost in the sauce. I really was, you know that, right? Lost in the sauce. The sauce being what's going on around you. To me, don't get lost in the sauce. Whatever. I was so invested in others and the outcome of others. Even still now, again, you doing similar work as I. Our time is so spent on others. Making sure everybody else is good. We all the time lose track of ourselves. And it's from the simplest things to it turn 7:30 at night. I'm like, yo, did I eat today? Simple stuff like that.
Thing I can't forget to do.
I always forget to eat. I always forget. And I mean, that's probably another reason why I'm probably, losing weight and stuff. But I'm in the gym, so I ain't
Is
worried.
that how you do that?
Yeah, weight and stress. It's those two things. Don't eat and stress. That's like the diet right there.
Recipe.
That's you trying to lose 20 pounds fast, start wearing that'll get you there. But it's just when I realized the benefit of what I was doing, that's what started that journey for me. It's like, and when I say I'm not that bad, I mean in the retrospect that it's okay to focus on self, Jay. Like you need to take care of yourself, because what somebody told me was, who gonna take care of everybody else if you aren't taken care of? If you see yourself as the savior, if you see yourself as the individual who's put in place,
okay,
you got to be okay. You can't, you know what I mean, and you can't kind of lose track of who you are. That's why you got to study, even when you're not in school, right? You got to study your field, your area.
Yeah.
Stay on top of your task, because that's what's going to keep you moving. But also, what was the quote? Anytime you're lazy, unfocused, or what was the last word? Lazy, unfocused, or distracted. Same thing as unfocused, but you're failing somebody who believes in you. That's
deep. Yeah.
That was the one for me. I'm like, yo, you know what? Let me step back and focus on self for a minute, because I can't be anyone's mentor. I can't be the best mentor. I can't be the best son. I can't be the best, Christ follower. I can't be the best employee. I can't be the best business creator. I can't be the best grandson, brother, uncle, if I'm not the best Jay. Right. For sure. And I think that's what it is. That's what kind of started that journey. It's like I had to realize, man, you're not taking care of yourself. You gotta take care of yourself so you can take care of your people. And
absolutely. And I so agree, because I'm now learning that self-care is self-love. And so I'm unapologetic about it. Like, yes, I'm leaving work on time. No, I don't want to come in on my day off. I get massages anywhere between every 3 to 4 weeks, like clockwork.
Yes, you should. I just got one 2 weeks ago, so.
Listen, I was just there last week. Like, do you want to schedule your next massage? Yes, I do, actually.
Absolutely.
Even things like going to get my nails done, whatever it is that makes me feel better about me, like that's important. And one of my favorite motivational speakers is Lisa Nichols. And I remember her saying one thing that literally blew my mind, because I've always been such a giver and I've always been one to care for everyone around me. She said, you can't pour from an empty cup. And she said, your cup should be so full that not even pour from the cup, you should be running over into the saucer and you should pour from the saucer. And I was like,
I like that.
And that opened my mind. Like, I got to take care of me first. And whatever is left, you can have it. But please understand, I'm good first. For sure. Like, before I can help you with your business, I need to make sure mine is together. That's it.
At all times. That's heavy. I like that a lot, right? That's literally what I was getting at. So you pretty much picked up where I dropped off. That's literally
absolutely. And so just keeping that in mind and making sure that I'm constantly in tune with my self-care, opportunities, like having alone time. Like, that's huge. No phone, no social media, no TV, just me, God, my Bible, and my journal. Like, that's it. You know what I mean? My phone hits do not disturb at night and random opportunities during the day without any guilt associated.
Oh,
Like none.
oh,
If I just don't, I'm not in the mood to talk to people. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
so just making sure that I'm taking care of myself, but I'm learning to do that unapologetically.
Yeah. And that's
And
my struggle right now.
yeah, for sure.
That's,
And learning that no is a complete sentence. Like I don't have to provide an explanation.
that's what I'm working on. Not explaining myself. It's just like, no. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't do it. Doesn't work. And I even today I'm like, man, I had those 3 meetings, which was fine because I set it up that way. But I have to be able to, be comfortable with rescheduling. I have to be comfortable with saying I can't do that. And it's because you get this Superman complex because you're in this work where you're saving the world day by day, and you are. Even if it feels like sometimes you're not, the work you're doing is good work. So you don't want to let possible opportunities slip through your fingers. But I gotta, realize, and I think we all need to realize that even on the 7th day we rested. You know what I mean? So somebody got to sit down somewhere. We got to take that time and kind of step back.
And that's so huge. That's one of the things that I'm working on now. The past month or so, I'm making sure that I have a Sabbath. So actually tomorrow is my Sabbath. And once a week, and mine doesn't always fall on Sunday because I work retail and that's just not how my world works.
At all.
However, once a week for sure, I don't work on my business. It's on my day off. I don't go into work. Very limited conversation. And actually on my Sabbath tomorrow, I'm going to actually be fasting as well. Like just a chance to just center and focus. And I got some questions for God. I think he already answered the question, but
you're going to check it again.
Listen, I need you to answer it.
I don't mean to get on your nerves. I don't mean to get on your nerves, but one more time.
Listen, that's my father. Like, that's like my actual daddy. Yeah. So he know, like, listen, I need you to tell me about 12 times. Okay. Because I want to make sure I heard you correctly.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay. So that's what you said. So go ahead and confirm that one more time. All right, fine. Cool. All right. Again, what was that?
Yeah. Just let me know. So we both know.
And that's just that's his grace. That's his grace. But just making sure that we have that Sabbath, because at the end of the day, if Jesus himself had to take a day off and we're made in his image,
why wouldn't we? You about to preach?
I'm fighting it. I'm fighting it.
All of it. You gotta offer.
Yeah. Don't play with me.
Look, cash out. I got you.
Don't play. Okay, all donations are welcome.
Look.
So, do you have any final thoughts for us?
I mean, my final signing off words for everyone out there, that's working hard. Keep hope alive, man. Stay focused on your goals. Stay focused on your dream. Whatever you're doing is not taken lightly by everyone. Somebody thinks the world of you. You are somebody's hero, whether you see it or not. Not all heroes wear capes. Obviously, I don't have mine on today, but but no, seriously, I take pride in that, and I challenge everyone to don't toot your own horn, but take pride in what you're doing. Be proud of the work you're putting in. You don't. I don't see anybody that goes to them every day, not being confident in the results. They want you to see that they're working, right? So if you're doing the things you're supposed to do, show us, tell somebody, because your story is going to motivate somebody else. So I just challenge everybody to stay focused, continue loving what you do. If you're doing something you don't love, stop doing it. Life is too short to be filled with unhappiness, man. It's not. It's rare that happiness comes along. So when you find it, hold on to it. Don't let go. No.
For sure. So where can we find you?
You can find me on social media.
I was like, come on now. Bring it back.
At JAY_that dude. Couldn't change my Twitter name because, hey, you made those when you were way younger. So it's at JAY_THATDUDE. Instagram, I_MJ, I_AMJAY. And that's my main sources of social media. I am on Facebook. At what is my name on Facebook? William J. Houston Watkins. Yeah. Long story.
Whatever works for you. No problem, dude.
Yeah, but definitely. Always offering nuggets of advice. Of course, there's gonna be some comedy on there, but we all need a little good balance of both of those to get us through the day. But if
For
you
sure.
would follow me, and I look forward to anything that might come from this great interview. You're excellent. You're excellent. You're excellent. You're wonderful.
Thank you.
Praises to you. Kudos to you. Everything you're doing is beautiful. It's wonderful. I hope to be in your shoes one day.
Thank you. That means a lot for sure. And thank you for having us, so for being here and being a part of this and sharing your story with us. I don't take that lightly at all because I know it takes a lot for people to be open and transparent. So I do appreciate you for being a part of our story today on Motivational Monday.
Thank you.
And I will definitely tag you to the post. And guys, I want you to comment the one thing that you would tell your teenage self. We did a lot of talking about what teens nowadays need to hear. But if you could tell yourself something as a teenager, like what would that be? And Jay, I encourage you to just, participate in the conversation, join in on some of those comments. I'll be sure to write what I, would tell myself as a teenager, and I hope you will as well.
I will.
All right. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.